right, y'all, welcome back to another video. Now, before I start, for my men who are serious about taking their life in their hands and they're trying to progress, get closer to God and grow their finances, grow their physique, whatever it may be, you guys could use a link down below to book a one-on-one call with me so that way I could see if you're a good fit and you could join the Discord and then we could even do a one-on-one session too. Okay, so for those who are serious, not just anybody, okay? Now, the topic of this video today is the power of fasting and how to fast exactly. So what I'm going to do is break down a couple points for you. I'm also going to tell you what fasting is, and I'm going to talk to you guys about how to fast. Okay. So I'm not going to waste your time. Let's get into it. So the first thing is what is fasting really? Now, for the sake of this video, we're going to look at it from a spiritual point, and we're just going to give a few information about it from a mental point and a physical point, right? So from a spiritual point, what fasting is when you deny your flesh and you feed your spirit. Now, when you feed your flesh, that's you eating, drinking, whatever it may be. You know what I mean? But to feed your spirit, you have to deny your flesh and fast to feed your spirit. Now, there are many benefits, and we're going to actually get into that. But again, fasting is, in a spiritual sense, when you times that you would normally eat. For example, let's just say you eat breakfast at 8 a.m., you eat lunch at 12, and you eat dinner at 6. Right now, while you're fasting, instead of eating on those times, you would actually take that time or that meal time and replace it with reading the Bible, praying, meditating, maybe watching sermons, worshiping, whatever it may be. So that's simply what it is. Okay, it's very simple. You're just replacing food, the times you would eat food, and you would actually eat a different kind of food, which is get into the Word of God. So that's what fasting is. Okay. Now, the first benefit of fasting is it opens up the prayer ways, right? So without fasting, let's just say on a normal day-to-day basis, right? And you're praying, think of that day as kind of like you have a big water tank, right? A big water tank, maybe 100-gallon water tank, and there's a hose coming out of it, but the hose it's not very wide. You get what I mean? It's not very wide, and there's just water coming out. That's just on a regular day, right? So what food tends to do sometimes is kind of clog up those prayer ways in a way. You know what I'm saying? But when you're fasting, think of it as that same 100-gallon water jug, right? But instead of a smaller diameter hose, you have a much wider hose. So that way the prayer ways flow a lot better, right? And in terms of that, I've fasted for I'm going on to 3 years now, I believe. And when you fast, in a way, you're showing God that you're willing to sacrifice and you're willing to deny your flesh for certain things. When I first started fasting, my reason for fasting were to get closer to God. That was one. And two was to show God how serious I am with walking with Him. You know what I'm saying? And with that being said, whatever reason you guys might have, for example, you could fast for deliverance. You could fast. Maybe you're in a spiritual warfare, whatever it may be. But you could fast for any reason. Okay. Now, the second benefit of fasting is, as we said before, it strengthens your spirit. Okay. So think of this as like a muscle, right? Think of it as like a muscle. The more you fast, the stronger you get spiritually, right? And as a man, it's important to be strong spiritually because when you have a strong spirit, whatever life throws at you sometimes, it doesn't even bother you because you have that foundation, you have that spiritual foundation. You know what I'm saying? So again, the more you fast, the more strength you gain. And with that being said, it's important that I mention this. When you're new to fasting, remember you're gonna be weak, right? Let's just say you don't usually fast. You're gonna be weak spiritually. So what's gonna happen is I don't want you guys to just go in and trying to do a 7-day fast, no food, just strictly water. No, you have to start to slowly train the muscle first. You know what I'm saying? So maybe you could do a 3-day fast where you eat every 8 hours, or you eat every 12 hours. And you slowly start to get that discipline, and you slowly start to build that strength, because I wouldn't want you guys to be on a fast and then you break your fast on the first day or the second day because you're not strong enough in the spirit yet to be able to go that long without eating or whatever it may be. So it's a muscle. The more you do it, the stronger you get. All right, so the third benefit of fasting is that it kills the flesh. Now, again, for all my men who are serious about their walk with God, and this is to my men who are serious about their walk with God, the ones who are after God's heart like myself, the ones who wants to know God's ways, the ones who wants to seek God on a daily basis, right? What fasting does is it kills the flesh. Now, when you say kill the flesh, what does that mean? Now, as we all know, we are at war with our flesh here, especially on my men who are seeking God. Now, the flesh has certain desires that go against our spirit. The flesh wages war against the spirit, and the spirit wages war against the flesh. Now, the side you want to be on of that battle is you want to have a strong spirit. You don't want to have a strong flesh, because that's going to lead you to disobedience, and you're going to lead into all kinds of stuff. So when you fast, it kills the flesh over time. And a lot of those desires, even though they were strong at some point, over time they start to diminish. You know what I'm saying? So maybe you have a lustful desire. Over time, when you fast and you fast and you fast and you stay into the word of God, you'll see those lustly desires slowly fade away. And the cool thing too about that is, if you're somebody who's trying to battle lust, you could even fast for it. You could go on a fast specifically to, diminish that lust. And again, that's a tool you could use. Maybe you're somebody who tends to lie sometimes. You could fast and ask God, hey God, can you help me with this? Maybe you're a guy who likes to have sex outside of marriage. Maybe you like to fornicate. You could fast and ask God for that. Maybe you're a guy who, you know what I'm saying, maybe has been going through spiritual warfare and you need that extra hand. Go into fasting. Maybe you have some attacks on your life. Like I've said, there have been times in life where I've had emergency fasting, where something all of a sudden is going on. I'm like, I'm not going to take this. And I go directly into fasting. Okay. So it kills the flesh, and it helps to maintain those fleshly and worldly desires over time, diminishing. Okay. So that's a big benefit. Now, the fourth benefit is more of a physical and mental benefit. And it is that you have a lot more mental clarity, and you tend to have more energy sometimes. Weird. I know you have no food, but you have more energy. Usually that's because your body is, it's cleansing itself. It's getting rid of certain waste, certain toxic, maybe whatever it may be. I don't know what your body compositions are like, but it can give you mental clarity sometimes. And again, it can give you a boost of energy. You know what I'm saying? Usually me, when I fast, I like to still go to the gym and do some cardio, do some fasted cardio. I don't lift though, because it's not smart to lift heavy on an empty stomach. You will feel nauseous. But I like to do some cardio. So that's another thing about it. Okay. And another thing too I notice is, when you fast, sometimes you can be calm. You're a lot more calm. Your anxiety is not really there as much as it usually is. And you're able to think a lot clearer. You get what I'm saying? And that's really the main benefits I've noticed with fasting. If you guys have any, you could drop them below as well, share your experience. And let's get next into how to fast. Now, how you fast is very simple, and I'm going to give you guys my blueprint on it. So, for example, right, I fast every month. I fast either from the 5th to the 10th. I do a 5-day fast where I eat every 24 hours, or I fast from the 5th to the 8th. And I fast every 24 hours, or I fast for those 3 days where I don't eat at all. Okay. Now, how I start my fast is, first, I like to present the fast to God. Now, you don't have to do this per se, but the reason why I do it is, if I go to God and I tell God, hey, listen, I'm going to go on a fast for these amount of days. And the reason why I'm on a fast is so you can help me with this and help me with this and deliver me from this. Now, when I tell God this, now I'm held to a higher standard. You know what I'm saying? So now, even if I think about breaking my fast down the line, I'm like, I told God this, so I have to complete it. Because God doesn't like when you tell him you're going to do something and you don't do it. Now, you don't have to do that, but I highly recommend it because it keeps you straight. It keeps you on the path to where even if you think about breaking your fast, you don't do it. So that's the first thing I do. I present the fast to God, and then I add whatever conditions in there. For example, like, yes, God, I'm going on this fast. I'm allowed to drink juice. I can have salt water, and I can have fruits. Those are things that's going to keep you going on the fast, because what it'll do is it'll prevent you from being bloated. That can happen sometimes. And what'll happen is it'll keep you to where you're not craving too much food because you have something in your stomach. And that's how I do the fast. And when I start the fast, the times that I would take to eat, for example, breakfast, lunch, whatever, I would replace that with with Bible study, meditation, worship, prayer, and I usually pray 3 to 4 times throughout the day. Even just a quick prayer, God, thank you. Simple as that. Because again, God hears those a lot more clearer than he would. It's like a boost, like an extra boost. I'm not saying God doesn't hear prayers when you don't fast. But when you do fast, it's like he sits next to you and he just has ears open. That's how I look at it. Okay. Now, if there's an instance where you do break your fast without you knowing, I've accidentally done that in the beginning, where I had like 5 more minutes on my fast and we had gotten some steak and shake, and I actually shoved some fries down my mouth. If in an instance you do that, what you do is go to God, and again, he'll see your heart. If you truly didn't mean to do it, he'll see your heart, and it won't be a big deal. But just have a conversation with him. Just be like, hey, I lost track of time. It was a mistake. I didn't mean to do it, and forgive me. And then that's that. Don't be hard on yourselves, because God understands, as long as it wasn't unintentional, for real. Okay? So that's what fasting is, the benefits of fasting, and how to fast. I'm gonna wrap it up here. Like I've said before in the beginning of the video, if you're serious about your walk with God, life, and everything, book a one-on-one call with me. I'll see if you're a good fit, and then you can join the Discord community, and you can even book a one-on-one call with me for business consulting and just life. Period. Okay, I'm out.